welcome to earnings season. Earnings season, which you haven't heard from us in a while. A good
Quite a
while.
while.
Yeah, yeah. MIA like the vaccines. We've been we've been pretty much enjoying life. I am the host, Randy Rowe at RT Rowe on Twitter and anywhere else.
And I'm Danhai, H Danhai on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, I get them the rest. We're talking because Dan and I have been talking. I would say, it's a long time we don't do something. We really should put something out. So I say, let's jump,
Indeed. And everybody I ask, I hit them asking about the podcast.
right? Big up Steph. Big up Steph
Indeed.
Pengu, who said,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I hear nothing unless,
Unless we say something.
yeah, well, him said the space kind of boring
The
since he
space
stopped
dull.
talk. Dull.
To be honest, I find that's been from 2020. I figured out of the voices that you usually hear in the market,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't tweet on them, they kind of tone, they kind of phase, they're not really talking as much. They're talking more than they were talking last year. No,
Mm-hmm.
but I think when market took a hit, so some people, I can't speak to the reason why they were not speaking.
Me either.
I definitely saw a tone down from a lot of people, but it seems to be bouncing back right now. So the market tone again, I guess.
That's true. Well, we did say that, right? That about the first quarter of 2021, you'll see people start getting
Hmm.
into the market. Yeah,
Indeed,
yeah. Well, let's see if that's happening. That's happening now. Well, they're hearing from us, so people don't be angry with Steph. Thank him because here we are, right?
indeed.
Yeah. The second part, he was
Pressure.
pressure. So he was also saying that since I stopped talk, I'm not really hearing nothing exciting, and it's because I've been in draft for Goodfellas scene, which not quite true. Steph Pengu.
But if you pay me, but it's
Yeah,
funny because this is free, right?
this is free, right? And we've done a lot of free stuff. There's a lot of free things that people have benefited from us. But
And Twitter don't put in the pay for follow thing yet,
the second
which is
them
actually
drop
a
it.
good business, For
Oh yeah, yeah.
more than just to laugh at it, it's a good. I think it can actually help the space.
Oh yeah, no, not just the space. It's a huge deal. Like from a business perspective,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing
It
because
does content.
you know what it is? It's direct revenue attachment to individual creators. There's this thing
Mm-hmm.
I was reading. If you want, well, hi guys, welcome to earnings season where we go on tangents. If you here's a long line of data put together. If you I was reading about my favorite world leader, Mia.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually reading about my favorite world leader, Putin, and he had dropped in on the WEF meeting, I think early in 2021 or late 2020,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they gave an unexpected speech, an unplanned speech, which pretty much there'll be links to that. You can look it up. You can check the show notes for it. But one of the things that was being said at the conference outside of him was that part of the new way forward that the WEF is seeing um, the future being built is almost a democratization of income, right? A
Mm-hmm.
democratization of not income, power, but they don't call
Mm-hmm.
it power, obviously. It just mean that like the regular consumer, the regular person out there, you are literally what you are, and there's value attached to you. And if you really
Mm-hmm.
want to go deep and esoteric with this, is there is economic value, and economic value has to be found heavily. And there was a push towards getting economic value from individuals, which
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, instead of housing it all in one thing, it's like I'm trying to talk about slavery, but if you house all of your revenue and also your expenses and your whatever in a business, and that business faces lots of pressure, and businesses face pressures all over the world, taxes,
Mm-hmm.
blah 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 blah. If you democratize that, then you bring it down to people, and you can earn from individual people, and then you can do little things along the
Mm-hmm.
way, like I don't have to worry about your tax burden because I don't have a company, I don't have a marketing agency, I just have 10 influencers that I've signed as contractors,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I have an ad agency who has influencers signed. Just that democratization of money is what I'm seeing across the board, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
the
it
value flows more evenly.
exactly. And bringing
Mm-hmm.
it back to value, I think I should say it officially because we have said way back when we just started this that Bitcoin that we weren't crypto good stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but wasn't at the point where it's ready yet. no
Mm-hmm.
underlying value, blah blah blah. And I have this thing I'm famous for saying. The people who are in the crypto groups with me would know I say it all the time that yo, pay attention to when the old smart money starts to move. And that's when crypto will
Mm-hmm.
actually start having a value. And those guys
Mm-hmm.
don't lose. So when they start getting into
Mm-hmm.
it, then it will move, right? I know we've seen that. We've seen lots of the governments get into it. We see the BOJ saying that
Mm-hmm.
they're looking to launch their own digital currency. I said that we see the Maroon, I see the Maroon National
Mm-hmm.
Bank saying that, or the new Maroon leader saying that the Lumi is not a real thing.
Scam.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it seems funny.
Say that's yeah, but you know the usual. Somebody attaches something to you to basically benefit off of you. I don't want to say that. Never mind that one.
No,
I
but
was going to, but in general, so I didn't want. I can't touch it. Like how Black Lives Matter. Think about that.
ooh,
It's
spicy.
there's so much money on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ah.
it often presents itself like a social justice thing,
Mm-hmm.
but then you find that there's not really one central Black Lives Matter, and then the organizations on the back of it aren't necessarily involved in the work that is being done for the cause. So
Mm.
you find that this guy's he sells Black Lives Matter T-shirts, but he's never done a rally. He's never organized a rally. He's never spoken out. You don't know his voice, but
Mm.
he's he has something named Black Lives Matter, say corporation or whatever. But
Mm.
he's profiting so much from it. Probably a white guy in a room somewhere you don't know about, and there's so much of those on the back of Black Lives Matter. So
I'm happy that you said all of that without
it's it.
mentioning Nike.
And I'm happy that you mentioned
Oh my God! I mean,
Nike.
big up Nike as a company as stocks go,
Mhm.
top tier. But as an influence to the movement, I mean, it's a business.
Mhm.
They sell the anti NFL
It's nice
T-shirt.
marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, anti NFL T-shirts over here, sponsor the NFL over here.
NFL, yeah. So
Yeah,
it somebody always going to, as long as somebody can identify value, they're going to piggyback that.
and there's no getting away from that. That's the reality, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, you can choose not to participate, but it's still gonna happen. It's still gonna be there.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna
Hmm.
have to pay the piper or see the piper pay themselves. Yeah. So the democratization of all of these industries you start seeing, right? And then in some
Hmm.
places, democratized power shows itself in many ways. So like there's GME, GameStop. We saw the
Hmm.
what
Oh yes.
yeah, which is a big deal if you're watching it on news, but if you understand investing,
Hmm.
it's
If you're on exactly, it's a very different story from what is being said,
yeah.
and the biggest thing for me with the GME, because everybody comes to me, everybody came to me
Oh
asking,
God.
"What do you think about it?" And they want my thoughts on it, and I also got out of arguments because everybody was. I hate polar. I don't dislike polarizing issues
Hmm.
because very often you're gonna find somebody, either people going to choose a side.
Hmm.
But in investing mindset, you very often have to choose not to choose a side. You have to get up and say, boy, there's merit here and
Hmm.
there's merit here. On both sides, there are good arguments being thrown on both sides. There are good arguments for where whatever should lie or whatever, where the buck stops.
Hmm.
But everybody was either choosing to argue for the people or against or for the corporations or the legal system and who they benefit and whatever. To be honest, on both sides there's truth on both sides of what the real thing was going on. So you hear, oh, bring the power back to the people, they can trade and they can do whatever. But
Hmm.
so even though I was saying, boy, even though this looks like this thing, and it can be construed as whatever being illegal, end of the day when you look, so they were arguing against the corporations. You actually look on the corporations, they kind of did. End of the day, they did what they said they would do, but they did what the people, the for the people group said they would do, because the whole stopping the trading thing and whatever.
Wall
So
Street bets, yeah.
everybody showed their head.
Yeah, yeah. And like just linked to the same crypto point, that crowd don't
Hmm.
lose. Right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just a simple truth.
Yes,
That crowd don't lose. Yeah.
exactly.
So it's not that you
And
can
if and they talk about how much money was made from GME,
starting
and
is yeah.
most of it was not Wall Street bets.
Right? Right? But then the secret is it's just like bring it back to JC, it's the same thing here. There are always going to
Hmm.
be people who have more money than you on the market who are doing something for their own reasons. The
Hmm.
secret is to be able to figure out those reasons and tag along. All right?
Hmm.
All right? Leeching don't give a damn about us. We might not even know us, right? But if he
See.
intends to grow his our bank, if he intends to grow our bank, then if you can get shares in that bank, then he can't grow it without you benefiting also. And if he give himself a
Hmm.
smidgen more of a dividend, then your dividend also go up by a smidgen more
Go up
percentage.
exactly that.
Yeah. So it's not about this. The laws of the jungle. And the thing that protects you is not the law cannot protect you because the law would have to discriminate to do that.
Exactly,
Um
exactly.
and so the law what the law does is allow a fair enough playing field, and the thing that
Hmm.
would protect you is knowledge, not anything else.
Hmm.
Knowledge. Um but yeah, so bring it all the way back to crypto. I think that the big money is ready now. I think you see government's going into it, you see Fed's going into it. I
Hmm.
think China doing that test successfully, and what's been happening over the US China kind of make it's inevitable. And then
Hmm.
democratizing a digital currency is pretty much democratizing cash, which was already
Hmm.
democratized, but it's now
Yeah,
not hidden.
on a whole new level.
Yeah,
Yes.
we used to have to guess where the cache was, and there are hidden areas for cache.
Hmm.
Whatever. No, it says it's cache, but we know where you are, which means in fact the
Hmm.
data sits on top of that.
Hmm.
So that is why that democratization that's happening, which also hits crypto and hits businesses all over the world, is impacting many spaces. That is changing how the entire spectrum of money looks, and will look over the next 10 to 20 years, right?
An
Uh,
interesting point though for crypto.
mhm,
The OG crypto guys, they used to always talk about how decentralization and the movement away from government power and whatever, whatever.
mhm,
And I always said to them, right, you remember you saying the same thing too. The government, they get up and just let you lie on their back, like, lie down and if you walk on the back because, boy, you feel you want this power. So, at the end of the day, what really gave them up? The thing, and even though that was an argument then, now
mhm.
you come around, and what's giving them legitimacy more than anything is the government.
Yeah,
So the same
yeah.
people we're fighting is what it makes the whole scheme now relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Which brought, sorry, I remember why I got this. I talking about the maroon currency and the Lumi. As much as
Hmm.
he was trying to protect his name, he
Hmm.
also understands that there's value there. I believe he's in finance, or he has some financial acumen.
Hmm.
So he knows that,
Yeah, I
yo,
think so.
I can't have somebody else out there having a digital currency from a central bank, even if you don't recognize the legitimacy or the sovereignty of the Maroon nation. If somebody does,
Hmm.
recognition is a power, and if they think that's
Hmm.
real, it can either I lose out, or when I choose to do something real, you have now damaged me because you have a
Hmm.
copycat out
It's
there.
already there, exactly.
Yeah. So it really is a shift in what's been happening in terms of the whole space. Um,
Hmm.
and when Dan and I were talking about what we're going to talk about this episode, we said we're going to talk about the space a little later on. We might still do it, but I think we should really, what should we do? Should we start with, I mean, the market is the core of what we do have always done.
Hmm.
So let's start there. What you want to start with, Dan?
Oh, we started. We did mention GME, and we
Jamie,
can speak about the thing that everybody tries to make a parallel for GME for in locally.
what would
And it's funny because I see that very differently.
mm, and
So
so people are clear what we're talking about, the great Siboney, right?
the great Siboney,
The dead,
everybody's favorite stuff.
the living dead.
Living dead, good one. So usual as we always say on this podcast, currently,
Mm,
and speaking of what we've spoken about the same company around before,
mm,
Siboney is still a dead company. It's been a dead company.
yeah,
Dead meaning there's no operations. He has some assets, and it's funny because the AGM recently it spoke about something that seemed like, now I'm wondering if people didn't realize that before, about the cash burn situation, about how much cash they have left and how much expenses they have.
that you didn't
Suddenly now
paying attention.
everybody's quoting the directors. So I wonder if they're actually checking the financials of the company.
No,
But
yeah,
why is this not a surprise?
because what we do and what we do, at least what you'd see me do, what we do, what you've learned, and what we talk about is reality of
Hmm.
investment and the reality of understanding
Hmm.
the thing you're investing in versus just repeating the popular line. So for a lot of people, the first time they even knew or paid attention to the Siboney was over the last 3 months.
Hmm.
I mean,
When
you
suddenly this thing was going up and it's not popular, it's talk about.
right, you would have seen, you'd have heard about Siboney, like I think when you just started.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and I would have been saying the same things back then. Dead company, don't
The
touch it.
company, yeah.
Yeah, it's something that you have to understand in order to really get anywhere. But Don't touch it.
I,
No,
I
go
do
ahead.
find
Go
it
ahead.
interesting though, the whole commentary around it, because so Siboney, they try to make a parallel of Jamie versus Siboney, and I I can't see where there's heavy comparability in them, because all right, so Jamie is a company still very much around.
Hmm.
It was moving. So the initial spurt for Jamie was people saying, "Boy, I believe it's worth more than it is now."
Yeah, in fact, the initial spurt for Jimmy was the Wall Street bet crowd going, "Hey,
Hmm.
here's a situation in which our size can influence a squeeze, and we can short squeeze the big guys."
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because yeah, it was laid out on the forum, a public
there
forum,
was
that boy,
a public play.
we're going to attack someone. We're going to do this in a certain way that
Mm.
if we push it a certain way, then this guy's going to get a call to say, hey, either pay some more money,
Or you get hit.
and this is way too much more money, or you get hit, and now the price will spike
Yeah,
based on that hit.
and the thing that will prevent you from being able to pay the money or buy more shares to cover it is the fact that the people holding it are gonna hold
Hmm.
it. So they're not going to sell. There's always a limited supply,
Hmm.
so they're not gonna sell.
Exactly.
So you are
Exactly.
gonna be limited in what
Hmm.
you can buy to cover your short position, which you have to earn back
Hmm.
the money in order to pay it out if you get in that call, right? Hedging the bet.
Hmm.
Yo, shorting is such a great insurance
Yes.
policy. It is such
Yep.
a great insurance policy. I don't get why people don't get that. It's like the market needs it. But that we can do that. We'll do that some other time. But yeah,
Hmm.
so it was the play for them. We're simplifying it, but
It's pretty straightforward. It was out there, and the play for everybody that was speaking about Siboney, I can't see where they can really give me a reason. Like,
mm,
I can't find most people say this is why Siboney went up.
mm,
Because the same people are asking the questions about it going up
mhm,
are the same people who now claim to know why it went up, and they're very, very adamant that this is why it went up and whatever, whatever.
mm.
But then they can't. They're not, it's funny. They're adamant that this is why it went up. They're adamant that they know why it went up, but have yet to find out, oh, this is who bought, this is why they bought, and like, nothing really laid out. You get me? So
Well, we see things laid out, right? Apparently, me asking about it.
yeah, so you asking somebody, it's funny.
Me literally asking about it is the reason why it
Mhm.
went up, which
Yeah, it's interesting.
is
That tweet had 2 likes,
I'm not even giving it
and
that energy. Honestly, not even giving it that
yeah,
energy.
yeah. I actually didn't want to go there with
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
basically, but say what you want to say. But cool. At the end of the day, say what you want to say. You're right if you're right. You're wrong if you're wrong.
And they're wrong.
Just know what you want to
And
do.
they're wrong. The funny thing is, as we're recording this now post
Oh yeah, actually,
AGM.
we can't say right there wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So post AGM, we're recording this, and funny enough, because it had that wonderful spike, it had that wonderful fall, and now we're
Mm-hmm.
seeing it spike again post
And
AGM.
I was laughing about that, cause and post AGM spiking again, and we've been quiet. That's the interesting part.
Have you been buying it?
I
Because I haven't
know
been. I have
I
not been
haven't bought
buying it.
anymore.
I haven't been
And
buying it for.
I didn't sell either, but
I sold. I sold a little. I sold a little when
at the top.
yeah, I mean, well, you would know anybody listening to this. If you listen to any of the
Mm-hmm.
earlier episodes before this was ever a thing, you'll hear us talk about Siboney and hear always say.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll hear me say that I've been buying it from 10, 12, 14 cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I have a stock that I bought at 10 cents and I open my J trade and I see it at $1.50, you think I'm not selling a little bit?
I I put in an order when it was falling. I wasn't even all my units.
I bought
And
some too, I bought a little
on
not
the
too
high,
high, but then my average is so low that
so it gets get more let's
yeah.
get more shares, right?
But somebody has been buying because,
Oh,
uh,
definitely.
yeah, over the last few days, a few million has been spent on Siboney shares,
Hmm.
and I know, depending on
I
who is
should
telling,
ask. I should ask those guys who's buying. They seem to know.
yeah, it's so funny. That's what I was going to say. Depending on who is asking, or depending on who is telling it, I either have a lot of money or no money. I don't. I
Yeah.
can tell you, I don't have.
And they can't decide, right?
Yeah,
This guy's broke or rich.
yeah, or rich for some nefarious reason, like
Hmm.
prediction of stock prices, which is
It's like, how dare you?
be
Like, we're
quite.
all in the same game, but how dare you get it right?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's probably how people feel about Serena.
Mm.
Yeah, like why would she be at the top? You know, or Bolt must be on drugs because how else is he beating all of it,
Yes.
right?
Oh, yeah, there's a super conversation recently about that one. It's a heavy Twitter thread about why both is on drugs. So some foreigners were saying it.
Okay, okay,
And why,
okay.
yeah, both versus Flojo. That was the whole conversation.
All right, all right. Well,
Yeah.
big up Usain Bolt, the
We
legend.
got used to it every time, you know?
But yeah, funny enough, Siboney has been rising again. I see now it closed today, um, at 91 cents or 90 cents, and the
Almost
last
at that one. Oof.
almost back at a dollar.
Yeah.
Somebody's buying and somebody isn't stupid, right? But
I should just
we should,
no, that's the thing, Randy. Everybody's stupid.
because the people who spend hundred,
Nobody makes informed decisions on the market.
the people
You
who spend
spend almost $1 million today are idiots.
tens of millions over the last few days,
Yeah,
but they're doing
just
it
don't.
because they're dumb, right? But
Hmm.
you are smarter, so you know that they don't know what they're doing.
As yeah,
Yeah.
the thing about the markets, as we always, everybody who do finance, they're going to tell you about the efficient markets and whatever, whatever. And this is a thing. This is a function of it. Market inefficiency is where you make money because there's asymmetric information,
And there has to
and
be.
that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's, so the thing is, there can be bad things, and we legislate against those. So you
Yes.
have the insider information issues and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I don't know what kind of insider information you get on Siboney because, as I said,
Well,
no operations.
the company released
Oh
the
yes, and the
company.
company, yes, the company released a statement saying they are. Let me get it right. We are not in possession of any material information that would have contributed to the recent trading levels in the company's shares and also not aware of a reverse takeover of the company. So the company is unaware of whatever.
Mhm. I am
But
unaware
somehow,
of how Lisa's picture got in my phone. I'm not in a position of any information as to how Lisa in accounting are sending me these pictures, and I have no clue about it. Oh my lord. Oh my lord.
I don't know if I should. Maybe I should take the guys on Twitter their statements as a corporate disclosure of sorts because they seem to know. So despite the company not knowing, they know. So
Here's what
I
I
don't
know.
know.
Here's what I know. I know that the government of Jamaica has said over the last few years that they're trying to sell their stakes.
Sell this
I
thing.
believe I've
Hmm.
said it on the show, but I don't know for sure. But
Hmm.
let me
We
say,
definitely have said that.
yeah, that at some
And
point,
the company, the majority shareholder has put out even notice in the paper to say, "Yo, we have a
ads,
take this. We're selling this. We're selling
ads,
this."
ads.
Hmm.
And I've said openly that somebody must buy it at some point.
Hmm. And it's the best time to buy something is when you're ready for dead. It dead, but it's digging a hole going deeper and deeper underground.
You know,
And we hear about the cash burn now. So, what's the best price you can get on a dead company?
skeletons. Yeah,
It's like also no assets left
yeah.
versus we have a couple million in assets, and we have some expenses to pay over the next 3 years. Versus boy, 3 years gone now, and them have no more money left.
Yeah. And the truth is, they have some assets too. But I don't remember if we said that on the
Mhm.
show. But they have some assets. Yeah.
Yeah, they have some assets, yeah, man. Some nice assets actually.
Yeah. But everybody's like, no, they sold the
Tax
last assets
credits,
in 2018 when they sold Culloden to whoever it was that bought it, and
three
and
something
and
like
paid out
three.
that dividend, that large dividend. Dividend was larger than the share price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a nice time to own shares then too. In again the dead
Yeah.
company.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know. People think what they want and assign what they want. But like what Agatha was
Mm-hmm.
said at the AGM, what happens between willing sellers and buyers is as long as it doesn't break the law is cool, right? And obviously
Mm-hmm.
somebody knows something.
Exactly.
Yeah. And don't be fooled. The market is, for all its efficiencies or inefficiencies, it is monitored.
Mm-hmm.
It is known.
Oh, trust
Yeah.
me, yes.
Yeah, if you go into your research, there are times there have been investigations around things and people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so
It, quite public, quite public.
Yeah, and the law is
And
clear. But like I think we
I
said,
think because they don't one they don't know. So that
mhm.
if there's one thing I know is the what do you call it again? The Securities Act. And if
Oh,
there's one thing I also know, Randy probably know that better than me.
what's weird to me is how I mean I've tweeted it, I've said it before that so
Mhm.
few people seem to actually know the thing that they talk
Oh,
about.
because some people actually check.
Yeah.
It's easier to talk because if I talk in a crowd, and you see it all the time, somebody speaks in a way that is this. I present myself as an expert. I present myself as smarter than whatever. Nobody checks. If I say, boy, I can tell you no, I work in finance, I work as compliance, whatever, and compliance and risk.
Hmm.
I deal directly with the FSC and the laws to protect the company from certain stuff.
Hmm.
If I tell you that, and then I go on Twitter and start quoting the Securities Act,
Yes.
how do you think we check if the Securities Act actually said that?
No, but then I know, then I
Then
say,
I know.
right?
Then I said,
Then I
you
say,
know.
Randy say,
Yeah.
yeah,
They can
it's
throw accusations, they can say whatever about a topic, but because people who supposedly know less than you about it, they will not challenge you on it. They'll
that's
take
right.
it as, oh, him said that, so it makes sense.
That's right.
It sounds smart, so it's smart.
And it's so weird because I can see somebody flipping and saying, yeah, but doesn't Randy do that? Doesn't Danhai do that?
Oh,
And
definitely. And then I already always a check, right? So
check, the one check, yeah, as I said the
it's
same.
also funny because publicly, Twitter, people have corrected us on the timeline. We
Hmm.
said something in the time in the episodes.
Hmm. Yes.
And yo, hey, this thing actually never goes so. This thing you said, you know,
Yeah. I
should take a
said,
lesson from that.
yeah, I think people decide on their own what they want to hear. Because,
Based on how them
like,
feel.
yeah, because I've said
Selective
openly,
hearing.
yeah, the thing that makes us good and the thing that at least I can speak clearly for myself is how often I
Mm-hmm.
get things wrong. It's just that I'm not talking about the whole heap of get things wrong because getting things wrong is my process for getting it right. What I try to do is I try to
Exactly
get it
that.
wrong in my
Mm-hmm.
head so that when the money is put out there, I don't get it wrong there, right? And of
Mm-hmm.
course, a good play involves knowing what's there and knowing what your contingencies are, knowing the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've said it before, I say it again. I don't lose money, but that means don't mean that I've never put money in a stock and it never go down yet or not go up in the time I want.
Mm.
It means that I go in with my goal, I go in with my time, and if I'm approaching it and I'm approaching my milestones and it not acting how it should,
Adding up. Mm-hmm.
then
Reevaluate.
the money have to make back. Yeah. And what happens is that I don't ever
Mm-hmm.
get to my end date and don't have at least the money that I started with. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not more.
Which is right.
So sometimes I don't get what I want, but I certainly don't
Break
end with
even.
less. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's us, which I realize now we have a strong understanding of what the reality of investing is versus the talking
Mm-hmm.
about investing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which those guys, the Buffett guys, Buffett Munger, they have the same thing. Yeah. And like we
Mm-hmm.
always point out, if anybody actually pays attention to Buffett Munger, those guys aren't very well loved either. Yeah.
Trust me. I always I find it funny because that's a parallel I find between us and them.
Hmm.
It's how they deal with it. It I always find it funny because they say certain things and they're always poking fun at their naysayers. It's hilarious.
Always. Oh, it look like
Monga
billionaires.
sharp, Like, Buffett will run joke on it, but Monga, yeah, he does it in a different way. Like, yo,
The
like,
two of
you
them,
can say you want to say, brother.
the two of them, they're very, very funny.
Hmm.
I think
Yes.
billionaires, the more money you get, the pettier you get.
Oh, yes.
Oh God, you guys should remember that. That will come up again.
That will, yeah,
That will come
yeah.
up again. But it just shows that it's human beings, right? And that's part of
Hmm.
why we're
Oh,
good at what we do
definitely.
because we pay
Hmm.
attention to the human beings. And I mean, at least Siboney known for now. I think anybody who's willing to do the research and have sense will see, or eventually we'll see. I had actually planned to say something after the AGM, but what I was hoping to, hey, that's a KGS AGM, I gather,
Hmm.
the things that were said were so careful, yet I think there's slips in what was said.
Yes.
Enough slips
And
that
you know the answer when you give a right answer, but because you give that answer,
it
it
indicates
just Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not in
I said
possession.
it was a lesson in investing and understanding corporate structures because it is you're the separation of hey that is we are the directors
The
of the company.
company
The
is
company
not
we're on behalf of
aware.
the company, yes, and we are not the selling we are not the majority shareholder.
But you have to understand, you have to know what you're talking about to pick up those little things. And I think some
Hmm.
people do, which is why what I expected to happen. Post AGM,
Hmm.
a couple of people realized, say, wait a minute, and they've started to run. I
Hmm.
suspect. I don't know for sure. Like I say, I'm certainly not buying more. No, maybe if something
I'm
more.
leaving it. Oh, it's
Yeah.
fine.
But
I already have enough. And but to me, it's a thing there. Time to value. You know, like how you have options, and the closer you get to the date, is the date of the option is the, ch- the change in the value of the option based on what's going on and
and
the
whatever it
dates
is,
we
yeah,
reach.
yeah. Good example is
See, Bunny.
dividends. Yeah.
See, Bunny. If I wait, even though the asset value of the company is going down, to
Mm.
me, it looks like the saleability of it is going up because, again, people there is more level of I can see where more competition can come from to buy the company in its last days because of boy I can get a better deal on it and because I'm now fighting for that better deal then the price can go up because if I really want this company
I
but
can
I
buy
say
it.
boy I can get it at cheap and this next brother come in and say boy I can get it cheap too
Hmm.
we got to fight on that. One of us get chosen and how is what's the best method to fight price.
That's the only method
So
to
I
fight.
exactly that. So I can see where an argument can be made for an increasing. So think of it like goodwill. It's not necessarily a record. It's not always a recorded figure on the books of the company to say what the boy really this is what it's worth. But
Hmm.
there's some sentiment out in the public about the company that would or the product or the company that will make it worth more
Hmm.
than is actually required. People pay a higher price or whatever for that. So I think there might be a good amount of people on the market capitalizing on that, saying, "Boy, maybe something really going on. Maybe as a company said, we're not sure of something going on. We never hear. We have no information on that.
Hmm.
But end of the day, there might be interest later down, especially because becoming a hot topic now. Somebody might see it and say, "Wait, yeah, that's a good one there. Something good might come from that."
And
So
they're definitely not aware of any reverse takeover. Yeah.
no reverse takeovers awareness. So
And then suddenly somebody might go, wait, we could use a reverse takeover.
or maybe somebody has an idea already. Maybe it's out there.
What I like is that the timeline that I picked. I mean, you would have heard us, and you then I would have heard me talking in 2018 and talking about timing it via paying attention to the cash burn. And I say, yo, we're looking at maybe. I think I'd had it for maybe mid or late 2021 in
Hmm.
terms of burnout, right? But
Hmm.
I don't know. I think or 2020, and then the color then thing would have allowed them to make some more.
That was thing there. So I remember you initially spoke about it to me. We were in a group of people who were speaking
Mhm.
about it. But at the time they had the land, and he had
Yes.
mentioned something previously about okay, can I do this if you want? John Jackson. He's on his site about the
Hmm.
thing there about their approach. There's an approach to them by the company by approach to Siboney and the directors about the sale of the company. But because of the process, the process he had taken at the time, it would not have worked out because of a conflict.
I get you. I get you. I get you.
And
And
that's when, because he said that to me, that's when I started paying attention to it. At the time they had the land. When I
yes.
really paid attention to when they finally sold the land and the big dividend, or whatever we want to name,
Hmm.
and asset distribution, whatever, capital distribution.
Yeah.
When that happened, I think that's when I saw the price tank. I was like, wait there.
Yeah.
Something can go on for real, and I think that's when I started asking you more than so. Cause we had a conversation, we had conversations about it for quite a while because of that one thing.
Yeah. I know here we are years later, and it turned out to. But I mean, it's the dual nature. You predict these things and you see it happen, and you can't even feel happy about it. And you hear say
Hmm.
you.
That's the funny thing. The joke is, boy, there's nothing to say, boy, Randy, maybe I try to reverse takeover.
Right? Why wouldn't the lack of ratings that that even if
Mm,
I'm the one
the
buying it
boy,
up, me not do nothing with it.
he knows a bite and makes people.
Silly, silly. But but the market is beautiful because the market always shows who's right or wrong in the end.
Hmm.
Um, and all the listeners that are earning season would know. Like if you pay attention, the stuff we spoke about back then happening now. Yeah, like that's straight prediction. Unless you thought we had
Hmm.
time machines, straight prediction. Like there are things still there that haven't happened yet.
Hmm.
And I think one of them is like I call it my new. We recorded an episode where I called it my new dark horse, and I don't think we ever
Oh,
published it.
new dark horse,
GK,
boy. Mm.
yeah, GK.
That's a pretty industry company though, Randy. You know, everybody industry lifestyle. I thought you were against those guys. What's happening?
Right? No, turns out no, I'm not. I've never been. I'm for my money. So for the money, I go for it. So GK has been boring
Hmm.
for years, and now GK, the boring for years company, is doing what boring for years companies do when they're pressed to
Hmm.
find growth. They find growth, and that
But
often.
it's funny because what they're doing now has been very spoken about by them. They've been very public about what they want to do, where they want to go by
Mhm,
whenever, and
mhm.
what they're going to do to get there.
And yeah, well, yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, mergers and acquisitions are the way forward. We see a lot of
Hmm.
growth
And we
bust.
want to get a certain profit revenue number by a certain time.
Yeah, and
And
external to Jamaica,
hmm
and growth through the GK Financial Group, which everybody talks about like they knew
hmm
about it 3 years ago, right?
yeah, so I want everybody. I really, really, really hope. Like if not, I hope you have a time machine. But every other, all the long term people, I hope you got in at the 40s days when they were talking about it. Honestly, like if you really were long term, then that was the time.
Oh my God, long
And
term.
funny, but the thing about the market is very often now is always the best time.
Unless you have a
Like,
time machine,
I miss 40, but then
I can catch 86.
I want because really the lesson is where do I see it being? It's not well it used to do anything there now. Because the NCB used to the 200.
Mhm.
It's at 100 and something now.
And the first time it got to 140, 140 odd, which it is now. First time I got there was a big deal because I was flying up from
Big deal.
70.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And you'd have remembered, not from, I don't think earning season existed then. It wouldn't have existed then, but you'd have remembered
Mm-hmm.
us talking about it in that investment group from
Mm-hmm.
70 and waiting and waiting and
70.
waiting and
Uh-huh.
waiting and
I
waiting,
remember
right?
I was buying it up at 70.
Yeah,
That's
and
when I
it,
started buying up NCB.
it
Uh-huh.
stagnated for a long time.
Long, long while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But
When I
no,
just started working, they had changed from NCB
to
to NCBFG.
NCBFG. Ah, yeah, yeah. That
Mm-hmm.
they
And
don't.
I remember seeing documents on it. I was investing that time, but I
Mm,
was showing the JSC site,
mm,
and I remember when NTBJ was on the site for for a good while after the RTO.
mm.
So you could still find in the little drop down menu, you could still find NCBJ and beside NCBFG. And I was confusing people because boy, nothing was coming out under that. If I didn't know better then.
What was NCB back then? That's like what, 2016?
The 2016, 2017.
Yeah, I
So
think it's
2016.
yeah. That's and there's signs back then, because I remember a lot of the talk back then was around Guardian, because I think at the time they'd
Mm-hmm.
owned. I did it. They would have owned
They own 20
32
something.
or 30 something, I
32?
think, or
Oh,
30,
yeah.
something like that. But they did it was something around holding off on the restructuring because of
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I don't remember it clearly, but 2015, 2016 would have been a great time. What was NCB share price back then?
Hmm. That would be interesting.
Right? Let's see. October 2016, the BOJ gave them the restructuring green light, right? I try to remember what they
Mm-hmm.
call it. There's a thing that you do in order to change, like from NCBJ to NCBFG. They do it's a legal term and I forgot the name of it.
It's very much like a reverse takeover.
Well, sort of, but it's just that like they create a new entity and then you swap shares. So if you had
You swap
NCBJ
shares.
shares, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
become.
So
And
it
you
sounds
don't
like
do
a
anything.
swap.
Yeah, but you don't do
Mm-hmm.
anything. It's called
Mm-hmm.
forgetting the name of it. Court scheme of arrangement. That's what it is. A
Mm-hmm.
scheme of arrangement. Yeah. Let me see if I have that right, or if I have work to go to. No, man. It's a reorganization of a company or group structure. Yeah, and so they adapted to that. So a scheme of arrangement allowed NCV bank shareholders to become shareholders in
Mm-hmm.
NCV Financial Group,
In the
right?
financial group.
And that's
Imagine that
2017.
overnight. Overnight.
Yeah, yeah. Overnight.
You know owning the wider group,
Yeah.
even though you own the bank.
Because really and truly built out of the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
That's a heavy story, to be honest.
yeah,
You
it's
buy a bank and you have this
you have
NCBJA
a
in it's
regional
August.
you have a regional
NCBJ.
giant, brother.
Mm-hmm. 40 I was trading for in
40 odd?
August. 2016 August. 40 odd.
Boy, boy. Yeah.
You have people buying from there, you know. Wow.
Of course, you have people that buy NCB from $13.
Oh yes.
Somebody in Grow the other night tell me that they bought it at $13 and sold at 33 and then watched it fly from 33 all the way up. Big up them. But they did grow, so they I hope learned a lot about about those sort of decisions. Not that it's a bad decision or anything, but yeah, they're talking
Oh, it was
about
great.
yeah. Well, I think they're talking about it against the background of on the one hand they sit 13 to 33 and they're happy about that, but on the other hand, I mean they didn't go back in, so they sit 33 to 143 and they haven't touched it back,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well the beauty of the market, just like you say, the best time to buy is always no.
Oh.
Yeah, assuming that you're right and your timelines are right.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun turn at nine.
Yeah. Oh, has not hit back 9 yet, right? Has 18 months passed yet since we last spoke about that? Fontana is a funny one, you
I mean,
know.
I liked it just the other day at three something, four something.
Yeah, every time it dropped below 4 is a nice buy, but I think they're grown enough. No, I think that they're definitely worth 6, 7. What do you think? 6, 7, maybe
Mm-hmm.
6, maybe 7, and they're doing strong results now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They can push it to eight, to be honest, if they build on last year. But
will that happen?
that's yeah,
It's a matter
that's
of
the
the
question.
lockdown ending and things being nice. I mean, they could. I think if the business
Mm-hmm.
justifies 7, 8, then the crowd response will send it maybe all to 9, 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny. There was a lot of it would have appeared that a lot of people speaking about it the last time it went to 10 is what caused it to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember, if you can imagine that,
I remember that,
I
and that
remember
was crazy to me.
me saying, guys, maybe you don't want to talk about it like that because that's kind of close to the line. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Ironic looking
It's
back.
funny because I remember I did the thing on thing there. Big up Leon, all angles.
Jackson Miller, yeah.
Yes, and we always they spoke about finance Twitter. I wonder now if that's what they were seeing. Because the talk from the journalist, the other guy, he was saying that people on finance Twitter are recommending. And I
Ah,
remember in office that people were asking me,
mhm,
are they really recommending? Because they saw some of the tweets around it. And somebody specifically asked me about Fountain. I don't know if it was around the same time.
mhm,
But yeah, so I wonder if that was what triggered that.
maybe.
But yeah.
I can tell you what I see now. I feel justified in how I've always spoken, right? And people say, why you didn't talk
Mm-hmm.
on nine? You have to dig through him words.
Oh,
No, I just speak carefully and I'm aware of a legal line that I don't cross. But that's what it sounds like.
exactly.
That's what it's going to
Yes.
sound like. And also sometimes we just don't want to tell people my picks. I know a lot of.
The joke is, I think everybody can understand that, but they don't want to understand when it comes to us talking about certain things
You know, I think,
because they value what we say. So
yeah.
that's the issue.
And then,
You can very much understand. You sit down here, do the work, and you're buying when they're buying. You're not coming to advertise it. But somehow, if we do it, then why am I talk so?
yeah, I
And
know,
you can't talk straight.
right? Yeah, why
You
don't
buy
you?
it or you not. If you buy it, I'm not for buy it.
And I think also, I've said I think the space needs to develop an appreciation of that thing as a skill. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
ability to accurately not just predict a winning stock, but accurately
Mm-hmm.
do it, repeatedly do it,
PTD,
and do it
yes.
deliberately, repeatedly, and in public. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because it's been done so many times, clearly, openly, that I mean, you hear from,
Mm-hmm.
oh, inside information. No, we don't know him.
It's
Buying it himself.
no,
Don't have a
the
few
real
hundred
joke is where
million.
we're getting that from. Where we're getting that from? Like,
So
who do you think I know?
that knows
like
all these
I
companies.
rate. I thank you for the ratings or whatever you want to call that. But me knowing I've been in high society apparently because I know everybody on the market. What you really think, man? No, like.
Well, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you, but I know that for some people, it's everything. It's easy to find every single excuse except, hey, maybe what I'm saying makes sense. What maybe what I'm saying doing is what I'm doing. Yeah, you can see it there,
Mm-hmm.
but it works time after time, and it's been working. And
Mm-hmm.
but this the first day it don't work, will be the first day I stop using it, right? Yeah, the research works. Respect the research. It works. And making bets, being putting actual skin in the game also works because suddenly it's not
Mm-hmm.
just what feels good
It's
or
not
one to
just
watch.
exactly. It's no longer one to watch.
Yeah, it's no
It's
my money.
my money is there, and what's going to happen? I
Exactly.
need to make it work.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it don't work, I losing money. I will find something good after this bad thing. And that's something people don't speak about too. Your first investment after a bad investment.
And
You could lose money on that thing. How you think you have confidence to go in that next thing?
and I think when people start to learn what actual investing looks like and see the reality of it,
hmm
when they understand or saying things like, you down 20%, you think it's going to get back up? If the answer is no, then why are you still in it? And that ease with which you jump out and go in something else to recover the gains, that is not actually easy. That's a developed
hmm
skill to go. I'm not down 25. It just means I now have 25 to make up on top
to
of,
make up
yeah,
on
on top
exactly.
on top of the profit that I intend to
Because you
make.
want you exactly you wanted to make
Yeah,
30% this year. We're
yeah,
down 25. You find out how much you need to make to reach that 30%. Because your goal never change, you know.
exactly. So you find yourself, it's no longer 25, by the way. You probably have to go back now, it's now
hmm
what, 33? So I have to go back up
Way
to
more.
33%. No, man, I think if you
And
lose
then
25, you have to
oh
go back
you
up,
25. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yes.
yeah, to get to
Yeah.
flat, and then you still have the
hmm
initial 30% that you plan to do. Yeah, and getting familiar with that and being able to do that in equity market is a skill, and it is a multi-billion-dollar skill. And to give it away in a podcast for free is crazy, right? To give it away on Twitter for free is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And
But the thing is, like,
to
as
oppose
you said,
somebody to oppose somebody doing that crazy thing is beyond crazy.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
The real thing for me though is you said it before, it's a space because our space isn't at a place where you hear that. You don't hear it, it's not rewarded. Ryan was speaking about it that day. The about certain things that happen in other markets, developed markets,
Mm-hmm.
but it just don't happen here. You don't hear what this analyst says. You don't hear that. You hear straight, boy, this host does this. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know who are the hosts. The host could have changed analyst 3 times and you just never know because the host said this thing. The host said this. You say, boy, how them recommend this last year? That's the next thing. How you recommend this? We're saying no this year. People see a disconnect between those as if the stocks can't change, as if you can't change your mindset on it, as if it reach a point now where you say, boy, that reached past where I wanted
Apparently, these guys invest in a concrete market. The
it.
reality is that you have to be able to, you must change your mind. Yeah, you
hmm
must change.
There comes a point where you say, at what point? I don't remember who was saying that day, but they did say something like this. If you can decide that you want a certain amount from a stock
Hmm.
or whatever, then there must be a point where you say, I don't want it at that price. There's going to be a too high price. So
Mm.
if you're buying at a target price, then what's the point?
But again, it's how we approach the investment decision. A lot of people don't see it that way, right?
Hmm.
Like somebody told me once, the difference between me and them is that I assign that time to my investments, right? Or I invest with the expectation of profit. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny because I think
But
investing is defined
as the
as doing it with profit in mind.
as people grow hear me say all the time is the placing of value with the expectation of receiving greater value, right? If
Hmm.
I can't expect greater value, what am I doing?
Why am I doing it?
What is the
It's
point?
that if you're not the utilized by any stock, you have no problem losing money. Like, those are the things you're saying to me, and that's just odd to me.
Yeah, yeah, and I get why I think the space doesn't appreciate it as a skill is because, and I'm guilty of it too, giving it away for free. Yeah,
Hmm.
we're not gonna value it if you get it for free. But I think that
I think it also comes back to where the people who get value from the space
mhm,
do it. You get me? Like, if I work at a house as a research analyst for
mhm.
whatever, very often my recommendations aren't necessarily for everybody, aren't for the public per se.
That's true. Oftentimes they
And
are for a specific,
a
like you've
certain
been,
type of
yeah,
investor,
yeah.
exactly.
Or I've been assigned this for this reason, and so whatever
Hmm.
this reason is plays into how
And
you
everybody will get
evaluate.
that.
Yeah, but if
Exactly.
yeah,
And everybody will get that. Like, there's no difference, no nuance.
yeah.
I am investing for the fund. My mindset is with the pension fund in mind.
So I need to know
That's
the
how
fair
I look
value.
at the thing there.
I need to know the
Mm-hmm.
initial fair value. I need to know what the dividend discount model says because this
Mm-hmm.
fund is
Because I
going
won't.
to
I'm buying for discounts 50 years down the line. So.
exactly. Yeah. So what you come in and you say you want to buy a car next year, hold this. The analysis says, right? And I don't complain about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I see,
So it's really what it is.
yeah, and again, big up Steph, Steph the Pengu for pointing
Mm-hmm.
it out.
Stephen.
Say, who we've had on this show, big up Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
That the space has been kind of stale. Stephen, get ready to hear that you were told to say that.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, get ready to hear that you were
Yeah.
told to say that, even though no, he wasn't. And I wasn't actually I didn't like the last part, but
The phrasing. Oh, yeah.
yeah, I didn't like the phrase. I mean, look, but
But we sure you never tell him to say that so you can make it seem like they never tell him to say that.
that is the wheel within the wheel. Inception.
Like, this guy is so smart, he does all the things, but he's also an idiot.
And he's also evil. And you're gonna find out how evil he is soon.
So no, there's a saying, old people always say Jamaicans. My grandma and her friends, and I'm sure everybody's grandma said this too.
Uh,
Soon never comes.
that is true. That
Soon
is true.
always a soon.
That is true. The truth is, people show what they are and what they're doing every day. Soon might cause it to
Hmm.
be magnified every now and then, but soon never comes. You're right. Anyway, bring it back to the mark, and I hope you guys are able to listen or watch. Cause you're watching us on YouTube. Some of you, I hope you're able to discern between. Like we don't always call gems, but there's a lot of
Hmm.
gems I'd like to think in what we're talking about.
Hmm.
And bring it back again to the market. I know that we have
I think I caught you on your point. You're talking about your new dark horse.
GK.
Hmm.
GK, who keeps buying up everything because they said years ago that they're planning to buy through M&A mergers
Hmm.
and acquisitions. I would see them doing that heavily. Now I see right now the latest thing is that they're probably one of their subsidiaries, GK Investments, GK Cap, is probably going to be the lead on Jamaica fiberglass products,
Hmm.
which looks like it might be an IPO, right?
Yes.
Um, Yeah, and that's just one of the many things they've done. We're coming off of the high of and the second leg of key insurance, post rights issue key insurance. Yo, you remember when the last thing I was crazy about was key
Hmm.
insurance? So, the last thing I was crazy about, which funny enough,
With all, like we're talking about key insurance.
crazily, right? And it started out the same way. You realize that every Q1 the same thing happened. This guy's crazy.
Hmm.
This stock is madness. Why would people do this? Oh no, see, there's a proof. It's not happening. Ha 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 ha. Oh wow, it looks like there's something there. Wait a minute. But it's really because, and this is the share price just moving the way it moves, meaning it goes up, it comes down, and it goes right back up to where it should be. If you think about it, look at the chart. I shared this in a private group with Danhai. If you look at the chart for Siboney and look at the chart for key insurance, they are very similar to a certain point. They both go up, they're both blamed for hype, they both dip, and then they both quietly start to go up again when, wait a minute, it seems there's something there, right?
Mhm.
And then all I have to do is just wait. All I have to do is wait because it'll be obvious what is there, and it is not, thankfully, uh, it is
Mhm.
not a crime to be able to see things early. It is in every other market, it is actually a blessing and it is considered good. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you think that
It's funny
people,
because imagine shorting was in Jamaica. People make money because they would then, because the thing is, if it's a bad thing to see what's going to go good, then it must be a great thing to see what's going to go bad.
and if shorting was in Jamaica,
And
we
you're
could,
fighting shorting.
yeah, we should want shorting here because if it really is bad,
You short it, you put the
short
money
it.
where your mouth, there, brother.
Yeah.
Randy guy talking foolishness. I'm
Oh
going to short
God.
his stock.
Can you imagine being able? Can you imagine shorting Siboney at 250?
Oh God, imagine that money. Ah, ooh.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful. And the
That.
JC has promised us that they will do that in time. But bring it back to GK,
Mm-hmm.
they just keep buying, right? They're buying on the food
Mm-hmm.
side. And I don't care much about the food side. I respect it. It's big. It's huge. I respect the revenue. And I respect what it can become. But
Mm-hmm.
that finance side, boy, that
Mm-hmm.
finance side is
But
where
the thing is, you look at thing there, GK Capital.
mhm.
It seems like almost the quietest part of GK.
It's a glue. It's like the cement between the
Mm,
bricks. And everybody
uh,
looks at the bricks, but the cement is what holds it together, brother.
mm-hmm.
Then buy a new food thing. When are they supposed to be able to buy the other half of Catherine's Peak? That happened already, or it's
Mm-hmm.
about to happen?
They buy other half. Wow.
They have a. I
They
remember
bought 876 recently, but they did take a piece of thing there.
of
Captain
Catherine's
Speak
Peak,
some
and I
time back.
believe there is an agreement to allow them to take another piece in a few years. I think that year could be this year,
Mm.
but I'm not sure. But in one fell swoop, these guys, I'm pretty sure they're gonna find some synergies between 876 Water, Catherine's Peak, and all its sub
Peak.
brands, and all. I think they have other waters out there. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just again on the food side. But the addition of the food and the growth of those companies also hits cap
mm-hmm.
market, which is the finance side. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we could do an entire show just on GK. We might do that. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But it's my new dark horse. Although I don't know how dark it is. I mean, going into the details of what it is and the timings that I have around it, yeah, it's great.
mm-hmm.
In fact, yo, I think if you bought GK even earlier this year, if you bought GK even earlier this year, I believe you're looking on some nice little profit.
Profit.
Yeah, I have a GK buy from what is this? When is this GK buy? I have a GK buy from an accidental GK buy too,
I wonder if we need to start doing disclaimers on certain things too.
which is what?
That's tongue in cheek, by the way. Um, because apparently we can't talk about more than one stuff at a time.
Because
You can only like one. There can only be one.
oops, I guess yeah, yeah, and you're also not allowed to change your view.
Oh
So
yeah,
so
you
if
can't.
like
You,
if you
you
expect
can't
something
get
to
up and
happen,
say, new research says this. I no longer am interested. Crazy. 'Cause if you buy it now, you buy it forever, guys.
oh my God, and yeah, yeah, nothing should
But this
change.
thing
So
is not about making money.
yeah,
It's about your feelings. But yeah, GK started here at 60 something dollars. Crazy.
60 something dollars. That's what I'm looking at here. Oh well, this buys a little from is in 2020, I think. But yeah, and you could have
Mm-hmm.
also got it at this a $59 buy middle of last year, May 2020. Yeah, near the middle of last year,
Oh
middle of
yeah.
a pandemic, $59. Yeah, and no, I mean it's still below $100, but I don't know how long that's going to stay below
Mm-hmm.
$100. Yeah, and you're big up people like Smithy Royal.
Hey,
Smithy Royal and
him stock split.
him stock split. Him say him expecting GK to possibly do a stock split because they tend to do a stock split whenever they get close to 100, 120. Him say.
How long? How much times? So alright, so they tend to.
They
So you've
tend
seen
to.
a consistent trend. How much times split now? Three.
I think I can think of two in recent memory. And to his
I think of
credit,
one with my your memory.
No, my
different
memory
from
might be
mine.
crap. My memory might be crap. That's I don't rely on
I
it. I rely on
mean,
the
I'm saying
research.
2017 was my entry to the market, so
Yeah,
there's some stuff. If I don't look back for it, then I'm not going to see it.
yeah. Um, he. I'm looking at an article from 2016 from the first split,
Hmm.
where not the first split. Sorry, a split in
This
2016,
split, yes.
which was a 3-for-1, and that was approved in July 2016.
Hmm.
Um, and at that time, by
Hmm.
July 8th, the stock was at 119, and so they'd have done the 3-to-1, right? Um, I don't think it was the first one. So I'm not saying Smithy is right. I definitely not saying Smithy is right. I'm not saying him right or I'm wrong. I
Hmm.
don't know. Let me say clearly that
Also,
I,
to clarify, the 3 times split. I don't know if it split 3 times. I was running a joke. I only know of one time. I need to check the rest
yeah.
before somebody quotes me on that.
Oh Lord, that's true.
Yeah, I don't want misinformed.
Yeah, but I thinking about it because I'd seen it somewhere else.
Hmm.
I had seen it somewhere. No, I mean, I'd seen another one. I just don't remember when.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think what is this? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But
But there's real money in JSE fixing up
again,
certain things. Like if there's real money in JSE showing me the whole chart.
well,
Like, and I put all on GK as 2019. Imagine I could just see that chart from forever.
who
And
knows?
imagine like our news. Like imagine just Gleaner
Mhm.
putting away that I can reliably check news for this one company all the way back.
Well, check mymoneyja.com. Who knows? It might be there too, right? I'd say that this episode is brought to you by that, but this episode is actually brought to you by the dog in Canada, because everybody's talking about it,
Sensation.
right?
Everybody's marketing.
Sensation.
How we market this one, Randy? How we put it up? We have to mention that
Oh my
now.
God, the split dog. Oh, oh boy. But yeah, the majors are rising. GK NCB has been moving nicely in terms of what the company does, right?
Oh yes.
Oh Lord, hmm, it's been to me showing so many signs. I can't think of
Hmm.
any louder signs as to what's to come than the stuff NCB's been showing, including the usual, the directors and connected
NCB
parties.
throwing out a lot of just more and more and more.
I think the most obvious one is the
Guardian,
listing Guardian,
read this thing, Guardian. Guardian is back in Jamaica, guys.
right?
That's funny because it's been back in Jamaica
It
for
never
longer than
left.
it never left.
It never left.
Well,
However,
can we say that? Can we say that?
well,
Because I
Guardian,
mean, from an ownership perspective.
it also never left. NCB owned 30 something percent
Hmm.
before they did it. Remember that when GHL was NCB, the latest GHL move was NCB moving from 30 something to 60 something.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
So
but
before that, when did they actually take up JHL? The initial buy.
that's a nice story, but it's before when did we say
Because
it?
I hear it as the Trinis took it from us.
Yeah,
So I
well,
hear it.
there's a whole heap of that, but then what happened is that with Lockjack and
Hmm.
with Lockjack, NCB took a stake in JHL there with the
Hmm.
option to buy more in the future, like
Oh yeah,
which
so
is
that was when I would say NCB took it back. That's when I say it came back to Jamaica. So I say it's been here long. It's been Jamaican longer than it seems.
yeah.
Because now it looks like NCB owns 60 odd and whatever. It
Hmm.
seems that boy it's finally Jamaican again, but it's been Jamaican because NCB was a say for quite a while before that.
Yeah, I remember them saying something when I remember Summer Success Limited, which those of you who can do the research can go and look that up. But them saying that that's a great example of a board of a company being able to be controlled without ownership being the
Hmm.
reason, right? Because they
Hmm.
spoke to I think being able to have board control. They have board control
Hmm.
in essence. So
Hmm.
I don't know if they were trying to include it or not include. I think they were trying to not include. We were trying to include it, and that was the reason that even though they don't own the
Hmm.
shares, it's um they have control via, I think, the board. You guys who
Hmm.
love the research can look it up. But yeah, we can say it's solidly back No, and it was definitely solidly when it comes here, right? Here's a funny thing. If
Mm-hmm.
you care about excitement, if you're excited about GK listing Jamaica fiberglass, then you should be really excited about NCB Cap Market listing GHL
Mm-hmm.
because that's a direct sell. That's like that'll probably be given as like an offer to sell in the same way how Proven put out an offer to sell Access when they did, right? It really was just a
Mm-hmm.
trade. It's just we have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
shares and we're gonna trade it.
Yeah.
But I like the term. There's an article. I won't promise put in the show notes, but it might be. There's an article where they spoke to being the NCB cap market being an integral part of the plans going forward. And
Mm-hmm.
they say that, they plan to make a market for it after it's listed. That's not a
Mm-hmm.
light
Oh
term.
yes, I
These
remember
guys are
that.
very
Yes.
careful with what they
Mm-hmm.
say. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody, you think about that, gonna Google what a
Yes.
market maker is. Yeah, not to say that
Yes.
that's what they're gonna do,
Mm-hmm.
but they
But
said
making up the act of making a market, you
makes
can
your
check that
market
out.
maker.
That
Yeah.
it
And I hope that
mm-hmm.
we're getting towards that point because that also speaks to a
Oh
modernizing
yes.
of the industry.
Industry.
Yeah, yeah, and modernizing of the space. And
I think there's more. I think more is going to come
mhm.
before we actually get to certain depths in our market like that,
Mm.
where you have market makers.
I still hearing you, yeah?
Oh yeah, when you have market makers, people actually selling order flow and that type of stuff.
Hmm.
And I figure we see some of it happening now,
Hmm.
but I figure there's some more going to come because that's going to take some FSC and JC talking.
Yeah, but I'm sure. I mean, when the giant moves, you know that it's moving at the right
Oh,
pace.
definitely,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, NCB.
I'm actually I expect to see from that side before I see any. I guess a new company come. We're going to market making now.
Oh my God, yeah, yeah, yeah. I expect it to be one of the
I
gang of
figure we're
12.
not. Some are not really satisfied. I think there's not a satisfaction with the depth of our market in terms of how much companies options there for people to actually put money to, and I think
Satisfaction
more is
or
going to come before then.
dissatisfaction?
I think there's dissatisfaction
Okay.
from an industry point of view, like with how much companies are actually on the market. I think there was some recently. Somebody was speaking at the JC conference. I think
And
the one with Michael Lichin and um, Marion Street Forest. I think there was the next speaker. I can't remember his name right now. I'm sorry, sir, but the there was some talk about how much of our companies are actually listed.
oh, in terms of what?
So
All of Jamaica or what?
In Jamaica, yeah, and the listing culture we have, there's so much that can go on the market. The junior market has been there for how long and still so small, despite the access being there for so much people.
Because a berry alone put in the work. I
Oh, the
think
Berry,
let it
yes.
be careful because people will vex and say
Oh
and
yeah,
say that
but
it's not
he
Berry alone put in the work, but I mean
right, but
his influence on the
if
junior market
if I
is
say a thing there, and I always say if I say Odisha is the father of the of the stock market of the junior market,
yeah.
then Mayberry is the mother
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
they brought so much. There was a time I don't think I was in the market at that time, but people I always hear there was a time when it was just Mayberry doing the junior market work,
Yep, yep. The list
and
what
them lead and as
60% of
always
the
them
market.
some yeah listing stuff on the junior market. It was only Mayberry for a time, and
Yep.
as always these things, somebody said, "Wait there, something good there, no?" And so let's go with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you get other people see the value. So you find that certain
Hmm.
people when they start to so it goes, it's always good. There's always some people who can see the value ahead of
Hmm.
time and you have to just lock your ears to it and move. And
Move. So imagine the flack they were getting.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we know the flag. I still know people who
Oh
say them
yes,
do
we
buy junior market company.
doing market companies.
Yeah,
Hmm.
which
And I've heard this from industry. Thing that I hear industry senior people
mhm.
in an elevator with one another. My first job, I was in an elevator with one, and there was in my there were two of them were talking, and the guy was like junior market, buy a junior market company, and his reasons just never make sense to me
Yeah,
because it never add up to real life. Because where he was and the things he was saying about it just
mhm.
never really match up. But
Yeah. It's you find yeah. So
the usual attempt at condescension,
yeah.
I a big wig, quote unquote. We're not really, but you need to be seen as they were said. Jamaica, or industry have all the pump and all the hype,
Mhm.
but not the money, and that's funny.
Well, you know what? It's because the industry that has been built up on, well, on those things that you say, and it's like it's work for a
Hmm.
lot of people. So if you remember, equity in
Hmm.
terms of local finance, equity market is just one part of a bigger pie.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so a lot of people don't understand that part of the pie, and they bring the other
Hmm.
things are used to that part of the pie, and the way of speaking and the pump or whatever. And then when you have like the young people like us, who it's not that we don't respect that stuff, it's just profit,
You
the
have to look at
bottom
it for
line.
real. Where's the
Yeah,
value for that?
where's the
Like,
value? Yeah, yeah.
what do I get from that?
Yeah, yeah. I don't care about the names. I don't care about the titles. I
Hmm.
care about the output. I am interested every time I see
Hmm.
somebody do good work or bring out sensible points or raise the bar of what they're putting out there. Um, Title to me don't mean nothing, but I've been out of corporate so long. That's second nature to me.
Boy, I'm in it and I'm there too.
Oh boy.
What do I really look at and say, boy?
Yeah,
The title says what exactly?
yeah. Speaking about other giants, manufacturing, we see Carib Cement.
Hmm. Oh
Yeah,
yes, and more
reorganizing.
and more and
Yeah,
more.
yeah. I don't even know if you want you
Well,
want to talk about Carib Cement.
Slim Carib Cement point.
Uh-huh.
I see a friend of mine. He was tweeting against. He's against the thing they're building, the new government, the new parliament
Oh, the
building
Parliament
being
building.
made.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Obvious first question would be to him would be I don't know, it's Twitter, you know that go. I don't want to go on them tweet or talk and then everybody feel that they must now attack him or argue with me. So I wasn't about that. But so yeah, and I saw that 'cause, you know the thing is somebody who would have a different point of view but more versed in finance way preach to him now that this is why he's wrong. And I'm not upon that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the obvious response is how much money you going to take the government to do it? And the issues you're outlining that should get the money versus that thing. Yo, you can do next year. You get me? End of the day, you can put it on something else.
Mm.
There's not really to me. There's not really a big rush on pushing it back. So yeah, it's going to be done, and
I think it came out that it's
that's
going to be
a
done in the next financial year, so 2022,
mhm.
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's an experiment point. That's a whole construction industry point, and as we can see right now, the construction industry kind of up. We keep hearing construction numbers be not high.
Yo, I mean,
So
the biggest one, middle of Corona, the government pulled back their construction spend, their capex, Dr. Nigel Clark
mhm.
pointed out, and construction still rose. That's the biggest thing in the
Mhm.
country, and construction still rose by 7%. Now, when them come
Mhm.
back and they're actually in building, they're back and doing capex, budget read, and there's programs in there that
Mhm.
involve stuff being done.
Highway.
Right? What does
With
that
the
mean?
highway being built,
They're gonna
government
build it without,
spending.
yeah. Where they gonna get cement from? Like
It's not
even
the
a
money.
second
No,
better
you're
point,
not gonna use cement, bro. Then we're putting they pile the money on top of each other.
right?
For
Moreover,
road.
moreover, it looked like I mean the owner Cimex seems to be doing their
Mm-hmm.
own reorganization in terms of how they handle a group, and it would
Mm-hmm.
seem like now Trinidad is about to start getting imports of a lot of Jamaican-made cement.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. But what's
Yes.
beautiful is that it would seem also like Charisman for the first time in over a decade might actually pay a dividend,
Oh yes. Yeah,
right?
cause it's funny. With the balance sheet, looks like it. It's like he can manage it, you know.
And it's been
they,
made to
they,
look
they
that way.
paying down on the debt.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and Kiln
So
5 is being managed properly. That Kiln
mm-hmm.
5 agreement
It's
is
fully owned by it's fully owned now, and the payments for it are
our
the
legal
the, the, the,
requirement.
the loan payments. No, the loan payments that they have on the thing, the preference shares, they're
Mm,
being paid down.
mm,
So they're looking better and better to me still.
yeah. But hold on, if they bought back the preference shares, they bought back the Kiln 5 shares.
Not yet, not fully.
Not fully, but I mean,
I actually need to check, but it more and more you can see where they're paying it down.
yeah, and
And
they seem to be ramping up operations. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah,
You see record production last year.
yeah. Well, I think is that a hot take? A hot take to say that production at Trinidad might feel a downturn while production in Jamaica might step up, and there might be more money hitting Carib Cement because they might not be exporting to Trinidad versus
Hmm.
the vice
I
versa.
don't know. I wouldn't call it that.
A
It's
hot take.
something.
Sounds sensible to me, but it could be a hot take. You know, it's a
It
real
could
hot
be,
take.
yeah.
We'll drop that one. Jamaica Broilers. Jamaica Broilers moving operations to the US, to the US
Hmm.
vertical, and
Oh,
then
yes, yes, yes.
importing.
Real hot take. Yeah, I don't think we said any. We haven't spoken about this publicly.
No, we haven't. That's a
Not
hell
that
of
it's
a hot
happening,
take.
by the way. So before anybody get up and say that,
Oh God, yeah.
where it was based on.
Just some dots, just connecting some dots. The fact that they
Mhm.
have the yo, it was based on big up, based on member
I,
Carla,
was, I was finding a way to not say that.
my longtime crush, the MP
Yes.
for Sessa, Lisa Hanna, the
Mhm.
right honorable, is the right honorable, Lisa Hanna. Um,
Mhm.
she had made some comments around maybe
Around
the
chicken and the
reduction in import
reduction in
duties.
the import duty for chicken,
Mhm.
and then how it would go back to farmers. But my our real point was reduction in import duty to chicken. The moment, so the thing right now is, or chicken local Jamaica's local production. I won't call it production. It's farming, yes, but local production of chicken
Mhm.
in Jamaica is competitive because of it. It's competitive with imports because of thing there, because of the duty.
Mhm.
So the moment that duty drops or goes away,
We lose our
then
protections.
boy, lose the protection. It becomes way less economical to actually sell the chicken produced here.
And the local market would
And
could face a heavy flooding.
mhm,
Mm.
we already see where the chicken farmers in America, they very much sell chicken out there heavily. There was,
That
remember the
push.
whole campaigns back then, the whole, yeah, man, oh, buy more American chicken. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yep. 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 Yep.
But yeah, and Jamaica Brothers has positioned themselves in America
With
heavily,
with an entire
full
vertical.
vertical.
Hmm.
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 So they can eat. They're already poised for it. If that becomes an eventuality, then while the local production, the price goes up and the margins become slim, then the margins are much better for foreign production, and they can easily just send it into our market.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
And
the
even,
question becomes, would that be better than local production? But what you need to look
mhm,
at is the tariff on local imports greater than the expense line for all of JBG production, including the fact that you
mhm,
can benefit from economies of scale in America,
mhm,
and then Jamaica becomes a
mhm.
fraction of that. All right.
But
And
the chicken thing there, the duty was what, exactly 50%?
I don't remember, it's something heavy.
That's heavy, you know. It's heavy. Yeah, I think it was 50.
Something
It was
heavy.
a big number.
Because you have to
Imagine that.
that's what you have to do. You have to have a import duty that heavy because
Hmm.
of how cheaply chicken can be produced
Exactly. It
and
can
sent.
be
Yeah.
exactly.
So you have to make it
Hmm.
truly not worth their while. But if somebody were to know that that might fall in the next few years, I would think that some local stakeholders would probably be first in line with the understanding and the liaison with the government, blah, blah, blah. So
Hmm.
it's a wild take because it is literally me saying, yo, looking at these dots, I could see a CEO going, hey,
You can see where that happens.
yeah, let's not that we're moving from Jamaica, but let's handle more production in America. Let's kind of scale on production in Jamaica, and let's remove the heavy protections. Let's reduce those import duties, which a lot of those,
Hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer, definitely not an international law lawyer, but there could be. I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of agreements in place to say
Hmm.
certain protectionist things that you have to be
Yeah.
removed.
Yeah. We already know how the international markets work.
Hmm.
That nobody in the international market for trade likes protectionist countries. They just don't like it. Remember the whole thing in America in 2019, America versus China and trade war.
Yeah,
That's the type of thing they try to get rid of. Across the board for real trade, they try to fight that out,
and when you remove
and things hinge on that.
yeah, and when you remove protections, what you then have is you remove protections. What you then have are whoever can scale up and afford to import heavily
Hmm.
beats out the local producer. And if I'm a local producer and I can spot that 5 years on the line, 10 years on the line, I might start to build up myself over there so that I can
Hmm.
exist and exist in another
And switch
form.
it on.
Yeah,
Hmm. And the
yeah.
profits still come back to Jamaica. The better profits come back to Jamaica. So
That is the sweet part. because that would be a Jamaican company, right? Just like
Mm-hmm.
how Jamaica Producers has the biggest or the most popular, the biggest juice company, I think, the juice brand in
Mm-hmm.
Europe through
Yeah, yeah.
Hugo.
Augustado.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong.
Yeah. But
um,
they're more popular in their segment.
yes, yeah, and that's a Jamaican company you can buy shares in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would not be against Jamaica Brawlers doing that. But it's so funny. That's one of those points where understanding the business of that and the long term inevitability of it. So
Mm-hmm.
them actually doing this ahead of time, I be clear, we are speculating. There is no
Speculating.
proof
We're
of
not
this.
saying it's happening. It's just.
Yeah, it's a hot take.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, it's funny because out of these conversations, they lead to profit. Because if you have the conversation way before, then you're looking for the thing that would say it's actually happening.
and then all we have to do is
And
just
I
try
already
and
have exactly.
work against confirmation bias. That's all.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly that. You start finding out why this don't make sense. And
yeah,
sometimes very often you say, boy, this make too much sense.
yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden you're buying key at $2, and here
Yeah.
you go, right? It's just how you see it. So I wouldn't be surprised if, and imagine if Jamaica Broilers were able to do that, cut its cost down, and suddenly the Haitian operations aren't as big a burden,
Hmm.
and they own it in such a way that maybe the local arm just becomes more
And
distribution and
distribution zone.
marketing, yeah, and
Hmm.
the brand in the US, the JBG in the US, no Jamaican is going to
Hmm.
buy Tyson over that, right?
Hmm.
Or
And the
buy
joke is for thing there. Think of um JBG's distribution footprint in Jamaica. It's quiet, but it's actually big, you know.
it's
Like what
chicken,
they own actually put it,
yeah. So
it just
distribution,
doesn't have JBG on the
exactly,
front.
and so then the question, if you look at it from the business perspective, which is what we do, so you should, is if my cost in this business is manufacture of the product, in this case chicken, and
Hmm.
distribution and marketing of it. If I import, I'm going to keep this anyway, but I can manage my market. And it makes sense. This exists anyway, but I get to pull
Hmm.
all of this side out, right? I get to get rid of this side of things because that's a business cost I no longer have to pick up,
Yep.
including electricity,
Which is
right?
very. We already know how electricity costs in Jamaica.
Okay.
Because local manufacturing.
And these guys have done a lot of alternative energy stuff, but still, nothing beats not having to use the light. The best light,
Yep.
the best light bill is zero. So if I don't have to worry about the overheads, the cost of security, the cost of waste, the
Hmm.
cost of it, and tariffs that were going to be dropped anyway. If you know the tariff can drop anyway, do I sit around and wait for it to drop, or do I act ahead of that? Right?
Exactly.
And then the investor, us, our decision becomes: am I brave enough to do the research first of all, solidify this thing if
Hmm.
it's real, and am I brave enough to sit in it now ahead of time?
Hmm. Oh
Right?
wait.
And how are they going to do it then? What I'm going to do? They're going to like maybe do a rights issue or a APO to pay for the US buyout of local or
Hmm.
whatever. I don't know. I haven't done that side of it yet. And if I did, I wouldn't say it publicly anyway. The harder
Hmm.
numbers, but yeah, that's what it becomes. That's what it looks like. So JBG is another giant that could surprise.
Good surprise, yes
Yeah,
indeed.
GK surprising IKL. NCB, I don't even call it a surprise. I mean, it's a regional
Hmm.
financial giant, and there's just more growth to come. That guy Michael really knows his stuff. He's on top of
Oh,
things,
trust me.
right? And
Yeah,
Patrick Hilton, who doesn't get enough praise,
man. Does not.
does not get enough praise. And of
Oh,
course,
scheme, you know.
there's other stuff like the blades.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like the Seprod.
The, the Muslim companies have been moving, but the thing is, there's so much of the group is private.
Yes, and so many little
You have to be
pieces.
looking out for certain things, yeah.
Yeah, so many little
But very
pieces.
often we get some niceness from their side.
Yeah, and
Epley, over and over again.
yo, Epley is a beast in a brother. I don't think I'll ever.
Hmm.
I don't think I'll ever sell a little. You remember when I told you I bought some shares long ago when they were expensive,
Hmm.
on a nominally expensive. Just to say,
Hmm.
yeah, listen, this is a group that you want to be in. This is back when I think Carpet God still worked there, maybe, right? And headed it, and it's an amount of shares that not none is allows me to pay attention to them.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I have 100 shares,
Yeah, but
and they also send you the things.
yeah, but when you look at what a company does, like if you pay attention to those linked by ownership companies, I call them. you're impressed. At least I'm impressed. But also, you see some things that aren't surprising. Like Separate paid a dividend in CPFV shares.
CBFE shares.
I ain't heard anybody asking why or explaining why, right? That was Separate CPFV, right? And of course, CPFV is managed by Epley in the middle.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful thing.
This money just flowing nicely.
Yeah, I rate that as much as the vanguard that I think that Sir Berry is putting together with his
Oh
holdings.
yes.
Yeah, SVL boy.
But people, it's funny. He said it. He said it to me already. Why people? I think we're looking at the wrong place. We're looking at the vehicle
Hmm.
and not the man driving it.
Yeah, and you can't
Because
pay attention to that. Yeah, you have to pay attention to the person driving. That's why I talk about
mhm,
leeching and those guys so much. Yeah,
SVL is doing so much. It's growing so much. But it's public that the Mayberry team is driving it so much.
the chairman is the
The
CEO of
chairman is the
Mayberry,
CEO of Mayberry.
which is
The
what
chairman of
Vanguard
Mayberry
does.
is also on the board.
Yeah,
They fully manage the company.
yeah,
And you can see the moves over and over again. SVL branching out into more than just gambling.
yeah. I see SVL as infrastructure. Oh God, he's saying it's
Hmm.
an infrastructure investment. I tell you, this guy is crazy. In this new digital age, infrastructure is what it is, and SVL.
Which is funny, you should mention digital because they have a whole company speaking of fintech.
And who are SVL's customers? Cashbot is the most popular local game. People spending the time looking at Is Easy, which is nice. You
It's
think Is
easy.
Easy and
It's
knock them
nice, yeah,
out?
definitely. Great.
That's great, but not realizing that it seems SVL has shifted the game long ago. You're still playing lottery? No,
Hmm.
we did that too. We did that too. Well, lottery is the flow of finance between bettors and
Hmm.
the host.
Hmm.
Um,
And it's oh god, and
and it,
it does so much.
so
It's
much
thing that
more,
name
yeah.
again.
And it's a cash-rich business.
It's thing there. It's Buffett's insurance business. If you
Yeah,
can't see that, if you can't see that, you don't know enough.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's really it. You just don't know enough.
yeah. Insurance is the new banking.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ah,
all the
those
banking
right
benefits
themselves.
from somebody who is paying for the risk.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Just makes sense.
yep.
You
Um,
know, that has set me on so much tangents.
yes.
Does that whole idea of float? This boy.
Entire industries live within that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's why I say SVL is a cash-rich company that makes daily cash,
Hmm.
and they touch the core
And
of
we can never pay
Jamaica.
it out. How much thing there? Like, I think you mentioned it on the podcast before, and it's something I found out afterwards. I mean, maybe people do not know
Mhm.
the the revenue for SVL, how they recognize revenue.
Post
It's profit.
fees,
Post.
post cost, the revenue
So
is
we don't pay
actually
no that.
bigger, and that's a cash
Yes,
figure
cash a cash figure. There's a whole.
and a financial company control.
Mhm.
I respect so much.
Where did I see this? How SVL handles their cash, the lottery, where the money goes.
Oh, you mean like, oh, well, a good section it has to be handled by charity. Legally, I think a good section has to be go to charitable causes, and I think a good pass
No,
go.
not even that. The cash. When I make a bet,
Hmm.
who handles that money?
Ah, you mean the network?
Where the money stay? What does the money do in the meanwhile? That's
Yeah.
float. You mentioned it. You just said it. We are
Cam
owned by a financial company.
Cambials
I
have the
think
nice
it
thing.
was out there somewhere. It was I see it on thing. I saw it in an article or the financials. I can't remember where exactly,
Hmm.
but it's there.
It's there, and it
So
is public.
that team is doing well. Yeah, that is public.
Yeah, yeah. SVL, like I said, SVL is another dark horse, maybe two or three races down. The Quinella.
It's funny. How long you been saying this now?
Yeah, right? You see what
When
there's
SV, I remember we had a conversation with a friend
uh
some way back,
about
and
SVL?
SVL. Yeah, man. Remember if OG is no Doctor Wolf.
Ah,
Wolf,
yeah,
if you're hearing this, then
big
big
up
up here.
Wolf, big up Wolf.
I'm here from
Yeah,
you now, but
2021. Yeah, big up, big up, big up.
daily market quote. Let me go to SVL for thing there. In 2016, what was the price of that company?
SVL?
Hmm.
They're either $9 or $17 or something like that. I'm always in that
So
$17 range.
in thing there in 2016.
I don't remember. I don't remember. In 2016, $9 maybe.
SVL was $4.80. I remember Wolf picked SVL, and
Yes,
in
yes, yes.
2017 he had a small run up and he sold right before the big deal came.
That is true. That is true. That is true. That is true. That is
And we're
true.
like,
But he
yo,
got a hell of
brother,
a benefit from it as he
oh,
did pick
yeah,
that ahead.
mm-hmm. But he left before.
Yeah.
So he was complaining and saying, boy, it not, and then the whole Mayberry thing came out with the thing there, and then Mayberry got some shares, and then
Little by little.
powerhouse since
Yeah. Little by little. And there's a lot of
picks up.
threads between that and in some ways NCB and GHL, you know. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
back end.
Yes.
Yeah, and Carib Cement. And yeah, a lot of things. Yo, this is a hell of a market, boy. Trust me. I'd love to do the kind of show I'd love to do, but even this show is nice to do. Um, well, we touch on the space, we touch on a lot of things. So if you bought a budget, you pay attention to the budget readings.
Budget. I haven't. I can't say I've been looking at it properly. I haven't been in a proper headspace.
Yeah, myself too.
So
Myself too.
I've
But
looked somewhat, but
yeah, I mean, I'm going to look at it, but in detail. But I think what I've been paying more attention to is things like the vaccine rollouts, and not in
yes.
Jamaica, but the vaccine
And the
rollouts.
funding for it, and the revised actual thing, the revised approach towards the vaccination.
Hmm.
Because initially we were hearing the 16%, and now it's 16% by when? By the end of this month, and then we're going for 50 odd percent at the end of this year.
Yeah, and I think they're getting help
Or
with the private sector.
60% of the population, yes, and private sector region. I saw Chris Berry was tweeting about that. He was saying that we should be enabling the private sector to actually think that. And they have since spoken about it, about things. So they haven't spoken about vaccination centers from private sector on the radio yet. But I think the budget did address it somewhat. But
And they
they did
spoke
speak
to,
about testing.
and they also
So
spoke
the way,
to a section of the vaccines being allocated for private sector, and then that there's
hmm
your different sort of private sector workers. Banking, I know, is part of it.
yeah,
Yeah, so there's I mean, this is a win. This is what it looks like. This is what, yeah, and it should
yes,
be. I think a lot of
yeah,
times people don't know that a lot of the things that we want to see in Jamaica, that we see in America, we see in England, blah blah blah. A lot of them are public-private partnerships. The
partnerships,
government
yes.
announces something, but you
Think
do.
about think about the thing there. How the funding for quicker vaccination happened for
Yeah,
us for Corona.
yeah, it was
This was the fastest it was the fastest thing
in
that
history.
vaccine rollout,
In history, yeah.
and it could happen because the government said, "Here, we're going to give you money, and you're going to get a vaccine, and you're going to get vaccines as soon as possible."
And part
Because and the biggest one of the biggest issues with vaccination before was we weren't funded enough. Our testing was poor because we had to do it for a longer period. But we
mhm,
can't just spend all money and hope to God that this thing work. No
because
government say, "Yo,
companies are
take
there
some
for money.
money,
That's why, yeah.
figure it out." Hmm
It's
a company like that, you see, yo, drugs, people look at, I think people don't understand that. How drugs actually think it's not a magic solution. You come out of thin air. We have to spend money on test and you have to pay people every day for buy the materials. And it might not work.
yeah. And
Think of
that
how much iterations of the vaccine came before actually having that actually works on people.
and remember that a good section of that is also the government, the US government, and many other governments did it too, but
Hmm
the US government doing that program where they injected cash into those research programs. And
hmm
if you take the cash, then there's a requirement for how you can roll it out. And that's why some companies,
hmm
I could be wrong, but I think AstraZeneca is one, didn't take the money.
Yeah, I think they did take the money
Or was
because
it
they wanted to
Pfizer?
control. Yeah, I, I, I think first thought is Pfizer, but I need to go check that. The
Yeah.
first thought is Pfizer, but that's probably because of the front of my mind.
Yeah, I remember reading is I think it's Pfizer, not AstraZeneca.
Hmm
That Pfizer did not, they chose not to take
Yeah.
the money in order to be able to sell it. And
Which is
since
funny because you understand why from Pfizer in terms of how successful they have been with drugs in past. They already have a strong program, so probably easier for them to not take the money than somebody else. Yeah.
and well, you know what? There's an article. I'll see if I can find it because they spoke to it as I think there's a Washington Post article now. They spoke to it as a bet, and I see it as a bet for the CEO. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to bet that, like, if I
Mm-hmm.
get that money, I can fund these programs and we can get it and we can be part of this program of that's giving all this money, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
doing it, and there's revenue coming in and there's some baked in profit, and it's government, so guaranteed some good money.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as much, but guaranteed money. Pfizer make the bet of, listen, we're going to try and develop the vaccine out of pocket. We're not going to take the government money because it comes with strings. But if we get it out there, then the government has to buy it from
Mm-hmm.
us, and other governments
Yeah.
have to buy it from us, and we don't have those strings. We are now the ones doing strings, right?
Mm-hmm. We control
And
it fully.
and they took that bet, they took that risk, and
Mm-hmm.
it worked out. It says a $2 billion bet,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked out, and I mean,
Here we are.
yeah, here we are. So I pay attention to that, and I pay attention to the rollout in America. You know,
Mm-hmm.
President Harris' team has said that they're expecting that by May they should be able to have every U.S. person should be eligible to take the vaccine by
Mm-hmm.
May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, no, that connection. What percentage of Jamaican tourist base comes from U.S.?
Mm-hmm.
Right? World travel. What percentage of that happens with it? I see the articles about airlines calling back workers now because they've increased flights. They need more
Mm-hmm.
workers. They're restarting. We can't
Almost
stay.
back online.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And even
And the
it's
moment, and even our local vaccination plays a part of that.
yes,
Because the thought of safety, I'm vaccinated, but boy, man, I got this if Corona run rampant down there. So,
exactly.
so
Yeah, and so that's why you have certain workers now who become more eligible for it and more integral in
mm-hmm.
getting it. And once them get it, you free up. So
Yep.
yeah, of course you still do whatever COVID safety measures are needed, but
Mm-hmm.
free up, we can go outside again. Outside,
I always laugh in my head about the immunization card. I think about the fact that immunization card has have certain for you to travel to certain countries, you actually need to have vaccinated against certain things like
oh
malaria
yeah, 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 yeah,
because the
yeah.
country is not going to take you.
Yep, if you do have it, yeah, yellow
Imagine
fever, all of them.
Imagine showing up to a recreational activity in Jamaica and them saying, "Where you can't be." Like this,
That's
they
going to
can't
happen
come in the
though.
party, but they're not vaccinated.
But we
I
know
funny
that's
to
going
me,
to
and that's
happen.
funny to me. That's hilarious to
Yeah,
me.
it's going to happen. There's going to be parties that is vaccine to
Hmm.
get in, yeah, and
Which is funny because the new normal, like certain things, we're going to keep certain things.
yeah, masks will always be here because it's a product line,
No, yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Vaccines will always be here. It's a product line, and if we get used to
Hmm.
having masks and those stuff, I hope that we go back completely to no mask, but I think realistically, them days done. It'll just be
Yeah,
normal,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And you can tell already because China, in certain parts of Asia,
Hmm.
it's just normal to have
Because of
masks.
their past, yes, yes. And before Corona, I was watching an interview
Hmm.
and celebrities they were saying that they always wear masks. The Chinese and the
Celebrities, yeah.
Asian countries that mask heavily, they were saying that we're celebrities down there, and we thank God that masks are or as a part of our society because now I can wear a mask. Nobody knows who I am. And I think
Yeah.
about the safety for certain public figures in this side of the world now
Hmm.
because they can think that boy mask normal. So
Yep. Yep. It's a
it's
real
almost like
thing.
you're reading a book about you'll get this. You'll fully get this.
Mhm.
Sorry, this time if I lost you on this one, but there's fiction. You hear like the certain customs of that world or whatever or that society in this fictional book,
Mhm.
and they hinge it on something in the past on why this is now a thing. And the thing about that, we look at it now, and we're fully looking at something that might become a new custom in our normal world, and
Mhm.
we can tie it to something that's happening in our lifetime.
Yep. 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 And that's how it works. That's why people are the thing that are the most important part of investing.
Hmm.
To pay attention to prediction, you have to pay attention to the people. Yeah. And that's why we pay attention to the person driving the vehicle, not just the vehicle.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny because that's where you get stuff like looking at the macro. Because if you break down macro truly, it's behaviors of a certain group across just consistently happening or whatever. So you look at certain type of things. It's really people. You look at a certain population. You look at inflation. You look at end of the day, it's
People.
what the people are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally what the
People are
people
the
are doing.
economy. I think Nigel Clark said that, or it
Yes.
was the Dr. King. The economy is people. It is
Yes.
lives.
Yeah. When
Hmm.
people say, "Yo, you can't worry about the economy, you have to do this."
Like, You can't not worry about the economy.
that's like worrying about that. That's like investing versus saving.
Mhm.
It's just investing. It's just another form of investing. It's just
Yes.
with a lower return, a guaranteed lower
Yeah.
return.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's it's a different sort of thinking once you get into business and get into investing
Hmm.
like this and looking at this stuff. So yeah, I think looking at the vaccine and rollout allows you to see so much more. And then there's also direct things. The more Americans that get
Hmm.
vaccinated, the more they'll travel. ECL's income is linked directly
ECLs,
to
exactly.
tourist
CPJ.
arrivals and
So from have more people in the hotels, then more distribution towards that side.
yeah,
More money.
CPJ. Don't say CPJ. What's been up with them? Maybe we can wrap on that one
Also with CPJ, uh,
because they've been going through it.
well, for one, they're going through
Yeah.
it. I remember a thing that I went to a hotel recently.
Hmm.
Not recently. So sometime when the deals were nice, I'm
Ah.
not sure of them right now, but sometime last year the deals were great, and I went to a hotel, and you could just see the machine, the CPJ machine. I was not in use. So this
Uh,
the ice maker or whatever that was not in use, and now we can see on the books that boy they're taking a heavy hit from it, and you see that one day of the debt issues they have going on, and they need to maintain a certain EBITDA, whatever.
the covenants have been broken once
Covenants,
before. Yeah, they got an extension on some things, and then
extension, yeah. So CPJ going through it, revenue down,
mhm.
and somebody mentioned on Twitter recently that they're no longer doing the box deals.
Oh well, I mean, I had always said that that could not last.
Yeah,
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 that
it
could
wasn't going to
that
last.
could not last.
So I imagine the margins on those weren't so great, but it was just we have perishable stock and we need to get rid of it.
Yeah, we need
So
that
you said
revenue.
it, we need a revenue.
Yeah, we need
If either it sell or it spoil.
that.
Imagine us booking that inventory right off.
And they can't say
Problems.
write-offs, boy. They've already been them on write-offs. They've had it. So it's good.
Imagine what that look on the debt covenants.
Can you imagine how what?
Imagine how that would look on the debt covenants when after we just thing there, and then you hear say, boy, the profits down because they put this heavy line of inventory gone bad.
Imagine worrying about that. Can you imagine managing the finance and worrying about that? And you have to have this box deal because you don't get it. We're trying to have a better bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that kind of informs about the business because you think about what comes after the box deals. We're going to stock much less because we're selling much less.
Yeah. But we have an entire financial machine built, including debt
Our
built
own.
on
Mm-hmm.
making much, much more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
70%
so
drop
imagine that the
in
fixed cost,
yeah, 70% drop in
like this stuff
tourism.
road. Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
They're going through it. So
But with every crisis there's an opportunity.
it's an opportunity, definitely. Somebody sent me something recently, a friend of mine. He said there was a thing there. He got something recently because he was asking somebody asked a question about raising equity.
Mhm.
And so we're considering this option. However, as you can see from our MDA, we are by no means in any great need of capital to restart our full service in the hospitality industry. We have used COVID downturn to maximize our infrastructure on all levels. We should be in good shape. And this was a question that David Rose asked CPJ about raising equity. He asked in July,
Oh,
and that was
July
the chairman's
2020.
reply. So 6 months ago, or thereabout,
Half a pandemic
over
ago.
6 months,
Yeah.
half a pandemic ago. So what's the shape now? And what they're raising equity to do exactly?
Yo, I mean, I
So,
think them either going to is sink or swim, or
mhm,
somebody else help you swim. So
yeah.
yeah, if somebody, I mean, you go if your body just like you said at the start, we come full circle. You get bad enough,
Hmm.
somebody else might look at it and you become attractive because somebody might want to buy you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, and they
I
have
think that's it. Or there's some partnership in the works.
yeah
So,
something
but
there.
at the end of the day, as I said, it's hard to kill a listed company. They have the option to raise money, and they are listed, so
Yeah,
deals
that's
come easier.
that's true. That's true. I mean, in fact,
We think already is heavy on the thing there side, on the hotel side. So maybe there's a partnership there.
we think
Something can go on.
yeah, that's true. Or somebody who maybe don't have as heavy a footprint in the um
Oh
tourist
yeah,
side.
because that's attractive. Because now if
I can buy a
numbers start
footprint.
looking good again, I can push that side too. So there might be
Yeah.
opportunity, speculation. As you said earlier about the point of speculating, because you
Hmm.
can look at it and you say, "Boy, maybe not." You can identify opportunity before it happens, or just the possibility of it,
Yes.
because the opportunity is there. So if someone come up, then you can jump on that same time.
Exactly. And then it becomes a matter of you just getting your timings right. If you're good enough, you can get your timings right. And if you're good enough, you see the signpost. And at the end of the day, you're making a bet. You never, I don't like to bet. At the end of the day,
It's funny. It is funny, right? Because at the end of the day, it is a bet.
yeah, but you know what happens when we say bet and other people say bet?
Yes, because of bet has a negative connotation.
Just like speculation has a negative connotation, which is
Exactly.
crazy to
Trading.
me. Crazy to
So
me
people,
because,
we give words more than just the actual meaning, or we shorten the meaning. We curtail it so we can feel good about whatever, or we can lie about what it actually is. But if you buy into a company with it's betting on more information. So you don't know how that cash pot and the thing the ball or the lotto ball go spin thing there. But with this you have way more information about thing there. You can inform decisions much better.
yep.
Which is why I
And
tell people if you're gonna buy a lotto and you feel like you're wasting your money, better go buy SBL.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's 100 people like you doing the same
Yep,
thing.
yep. The thing you're sure is that somebody's gonna ask what a man play. That is the thing that you're
Hmm.
100% sure of, right?
Exactly.
So
Zero.
you might as well be the man.
But it's funny that's a thing there. That's a example of risk versus reward.
In what way?
If I buy a lotto ticket,
Hmm.
then my chance for earnings, despite way more risk in this fact that it's the likelihood of me getting through and winning the jackpot
Hmm.
is so much less. If I buy SVL, my earnings on the lotto money is way less, but it's way more guaranteed
Yeah, yeah.
because at the end of the day, I get a dividend. So even if the share price drop, I get dividends. I get in something consistently over whatever period. If I buy a lot of money one time,
Yep.
then I only good for that one draw.
That's true. Literally just that one draw, and then when it's
Yeah.
done, it's done. Yeah. So you have a
Mhm.
limited
So
upside there, but
yeah.
it seems better. Yeah, yeah,
So risk reward, that's a good one for that
yeah.
conversation.
All right. I mean, I think we're giving the people almost 2 hours. They haven't heard from us a
They
long
bust them
time,
ears.
right? I
You know
hope you,
why?
I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys liked it. I won't promise you that there's more coming, although there's more coming. I keep the
Yeah,
expectations low.
keep it low, yeah. But
Yeah,
we're very busy, guys. Super busy.
yeah,
We're working on that. So as soon as free up, we can release more episodes. But
yeah. Look
you
for
should
it.
be happy with this one, I believe. Look out for it. Yes, look out for it.
Yeah, look out for it. And of course, I think they're getting this one pretty quickly, so it should be pretty current.
Hmm.
With all that said, and if I have anything else, or we can just call time on it.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, guys, it's been a while, but big
Yeah.
up. Thanks for tuning in. This has
Yes.
been the earning season. This is Danhai at H Danhai on Twitter,
And
and
I'm Randy Rowe at RT on Twitter.
all right, guys, best up.
Yeah, man. Boom.
Earning season, bro.